Many of you remember the algorithm or the procedure for multiplying or dividing with fractions, but a lot of people really don't understand what's happening when we do the math. So for instance, when we multiply by a fraction, why is it that the product is actually smaller than what we started with? We're used to the product growing or getting bigger when we multiply. And similarly, when we divide with a fraction, why is it that the quotient actually gets larger? Because again, we're used to when we divide something, the quotient gets smaller. So what we're going to do is we're going to model some multiplication and division with fractions so we can try and get a deeper understanding of what's actually happening. Let's start with 3/4 times 1/2. We can think of this as 3/4 of 1/2. So we're going to want to start with showing a rectangle that's half shaded in. Once we have half shaded in, we're going to try and take 3/4 of that. So we're going to go ahead and divide our rectangle horizontally into fourths. And then we're going to shade in 3/4 of that. And we're going to use a different color to show the 3/4. Okay, so we've shaded in the 3/4. Now, the 3/4 of the 1/2 is going to be the portions where both colors are shaded in. So the 3/4 of the 1/2 that we're talking about is this area here. Okay. Remember that multiplication is the operation that we use to find area, and this length here is 1/2. This length here would be our 3/4. So when we're finding 3/4 of 1/2, it's the same as finding this area here, 3/4 of 1/2. So what is the value of this area here that's been shaded in? It's covered by both colors. We have 3 of what size? 3/8. So the value of 3/4 times 1/2 is 3/8. Now I would like you to try drawing a model of 1/2 times 1/2, or 1/2 of 1/2. So give that a try. So now let's try modeling a division problem, dividing by a fraction. So we've got 4 1/3 divided by 2/3. That means we're going to take our we've got 4 whole and 1/3 of another one, and we're going to divide it into groups of 2/3 each. So in order to do that, we're going to want to divide each of our whole numbers into thirds so that we can then regroup them into groups of 2/3 each. So there, we've got those all into thirds. So now let's show our groups of 2/3 each. There's one group of 2/3. There's a second. Okay, we're just going to keep grouping these 2/3 together. We want to see how many of those we can get. So let's see what our result is. 4 1/3 divided by 2/3, groups of 2/3. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 groups of 2/3, and then we have this 1/3 here left over. But 1/3 is how much of a group of 2/3? That would be another group of 2/3. 1/3 is 1/2 of a group, 1/2 of the group. So our actual answer, 4 1/3 divided by 2/3, it actually equals 6 1/2. We can get 6 whole groups and 1/2 of another group of 2/3 size. So let's try another division problem. 3/4 divided by 5/8. So we've started with our diagram of 3/4, and now we've got to divide that into groups of 5/8. We want to see how many 5/8 groups can we get out of this. Well, this one's a little bit different because my denominator is not the same, so let's think about this. I've got 3/4. Well, how many eighths are there? How many eighths are there in 1/4? How many eighths are in 1/4? Well, 4 times 2 gets me to 8, so 1 times 2. I have 2 eighths in every fourth that I have here. So let's go ahead and show those eighths. All right. Now, let's get this out of the way. And remember, I want to see how many groups of 5/8 that I can make out of the 3/4 that I have. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5/8. So there's one group. I can get one group of 5/8. And then I have this little 1/8 left over. So I have one of the group of 5 that I need. I have one of the group of 5 that I need. I need 5/8 to make a group, and I only have one of them here. Only one. So I have 1 out of 5. That's 1/5. So the quotient of 3/4 divided by 5/8 is 1 and 1/5. I can make one whole group of 5/8 and one of another group. Okay, I'm going to have you go ahead and see if you can make a model of 7/12 divided by 1/6. So you're going to want to see how many groups of 1/6 that you can make out of 7/12. Lastly, I would like you to try to answer the think and discuss question number 2 on the bottom of page 194. When you multiply a positive fraction by a positive fraction, the product, or the answer, is less than either factor. Why is that? Try and explain that in words. Complete sentences, please.